I'm Jeff, and this is Infinite Lagrange. I'm here today to run a test. I want to know the hit rate of our ships. And I've read the same question on the Infinite Lagrange Community Discord Q&A channel. I've also seen lots of questions about the crit rates, but I don't have a plan that isn't tedious to figure that out. So, in this first test, I'm smashing together two FG300 multi-role frigates. The FG300 multi-role frigates will have no upgrades to tech points or weapon techs, like upgrades, right? So no boosted damage. They're going to have two frigates, exact same damage, just shooting shots at each other. And we're going to take a look at these two ships, the battle reports. We're going to take a look at the shots that are being fired in the tactical view, and we're going to see if we can figure out what our final hit rate is. So, another reason I picked these FG300 multi-role frigates, another two reasons, is that simply they have no missiles, and missiles might have their own hit rate that's a bit different. I'm just focusing on cannon hit rate in this first test, and anybody can repeat this test. Real simple. So, my first test here, we look at the FG300s, and we're just going to look at straight up their numbers here. The FG300 has 9,650 health, 5 armor, and a DPM of 1928. Additionally, the cannons does 25 damage per hit. So, when these two frigates shoot at each other, their actual DPM of damage they're going to do to each other is going to be their damage per hit minus armor, and that means about 80% of the damage is going through. So let's take that 80%, hit that to the DPM, and you get a DPM of 1542.4. So that's the actual DPM when two FG300s hit each other, is 1542.4. Now we also know how much health these have, these two FG300s. So if we just simply divide the health by the DPM, we get how long this fight should last. That's 6.25 minutes. So 6.25 minutes, that's how long we'd expect this fight to last if we had 100% hit rate. What actually happens when I ran this test is the fight clocks in just shy of 9 minutes. And that computes to a miss rate of 42%. Now I think the actual miss rate is just a little bit high in this case, because there's some time that ships take to align. So, so there's kind of like some buffer time. So it's not the perfect comparison of the time the fight lasts, but it's something. It's pretty close. So I then look at the footage here, and I'm trying to count the shots missing versus hitting. And it just does not make sense. First off, these shots are like clustered together in 6 rounds of 3 shots, which doesn't make sense to the 1 times 3 round per cycle of 3 hard points. And on top of that, looks like most of the shots miss, which nowhere close to this like 42% miss rate. So I'm just not thinking the tactical view is going to help us at all. But another thing that I'm going to look at here is I'm going to take a look at the HP that changes after each cycle of 6 volleys. And thankfully, the HP change is very consistent with the damage per hit value of 20. We see the HP will change by multiples of 20 every time, which is perfect. That's what we expect, so at least something's going right in this test. After measuring a few cycles, I wrote them down. The creative guess I got here is that the max damage per cycle is about 180. And so, with knowing the max damage per each cycle of 6 shots is 180, I calculate our miss rate's probably about 33% instead of the 42 that I had earlier. So I think that's a bit more accurate of what the actual miss percentage is, 33, or near 30. Right, and just a nice round number of 30. So Later, I had another idea. I ran a second test with the FG300, so this time I put all the tech points of one of the FG300s into its hit rate versus frigates. So that means I could boost the hit rate all the way up to 30% increased chance to hit versus frigates. So, if I make this one little change, I should see the hit rate drop down, ideally, to about 10% or less. Then I had a second epiphany while I was looking at the tactical view when I was looking through and finding out what my conclusion was after upping hit rate. And I realized that 3 of those 6 volleys, those 6 sets of shots, miss. Every single shot misses. It's almost like this, let's say a bug. And there's still quite a few rough patches here in this, so it's got to be a bug then. Is that it's like firing like some tracer rounds that are missing, or they're just I don't know, there's not enough going on in a tactical view of 2 ships fighting, so they fired 2 shots for every 1 shot that counts. Anyways, that's just my thought. That actually helps out a little bit, because then the creative guess that I had 180 max damage per 6 cycles makes sense, because really only 6 of those, half of those shots are actually not even real shots, they're just visual shots in the tactical view. But, back to my conclusion. The hit rate here did drop down to, a nice 30%, because the battle time is now 6.9 minutes. That's roughly in this rate about 10%, which is totally includes that 30% improvement to our hit rate. So, there you have it. That's what I feel like the conclusion is here from my 2 little quick tests, is that the hit rate of frigate projectile cannon is about 70%. So I've been saying the miss rate earlier, but now let's think of it in hit rate. Your hit rate is about 70%. You add in all your plus to hit, and it's additive to that percent, so you can get basically up to around 90-95% hit rate. And the tactical view just like to show some extra tracer shots just for flare some reason. So that's my hit rate test. I'll get some more videos out about Infinite Lagrange soon. Jumping all over the place with topics. My next one is going to be some random things with subsystem damage. Most people might not have kind of realized what's going on there, and if you have, it hasn't been just obvious, so I'm going to try and bring some light on that. Hope you join me again for the next video. Ciao.